Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is November 17th, and we are down back in my blood ritual area, or blood magic area. As you can see, it has been a while since I've been down here, so kind of a refresher. The last time I was actually down here, this wall was solid. So I haven't touched blood magic in quite a while. I originally got it to the tier 4 altar, which is what we have here. To be able to make the frenzy flame, as well as set up the well of suffering, which is the ritual of sacrifice, basically, that we use to keep this the blood altar full at all times. In particular, I have a Enderman in here, just so I'm passively gaining Ender Eyes. I don't know what that power failure is. I haven't logged in here in about an hour or so, but not too worried about that. We'll get that later. But anyway, so this week I kind of figured I don't think I'll have too much time to play in general, so what a good time to do things where I'm basically setting up and leaving it to sit. Now, the last time I did blood magic, I did not have AE2, so everything I did up to this point was done by hand, and let me tell you, it was monotonous. If I were ever like redoing this pack, even though I really like these, I really like the Frenzy Flame, I would not touch blood magic until AE2, just to be able to, or I would work on some alternate ways of like passively doing stuff. Like maybe I would start it sooner, just so I have a backlog of passive runes and etc. But yeah, probably wouldn't touch it till AE2 realistically, because even now, like this Well of Suffering, this is great now, but for a long time it was pretty rough. So anyways, so before I get to the blood magic stuff I did today, I'm gonna hop out of here real quick just to show you. So the last time I did blood magic, I cannot remember if it was 2.6 or 2.7 was the version of the game we were on. It appears to me that the blood altar recipe has changed. Where is it? Blood altar. So we got this a tombstone, and this is definitely something that was needed before. I even double checked because like to make sure. And the tombstone was like a quest I had gotten before, but now the tombstone seems to be something that we just get from having a mana diamond. A mana diamond you get specifically from Botania, which I had not done anything up to that point, except for I want to say I made a pure daisy and was like messing around with it, but I think I lost said pure daisy. Like I could not find it for the life of me, because I know I made living wood specifically because you need living wood to be able to make the rooted bee. Rooted. Yeah, this guy, like, to breed it needs to be over living wood as foundation. So I'm pretty sure I had a pure daisy before. Lost it because I did all this pre-AE, so I don't know where I stuck it. And then, yeah, so anyways, that all to say, the furthest I had gotten in Botania before was to get a pure daisy. I'd never messed around with a mana pool, which is what we need to get a mana diamond. So I started kind of like, I don't know, I was trying to Google stuff. The documentation for this part of the mod, or this mod, is not great. So, or at least that I could find. Maybe there is something better out there and I just couldn't find it from the little bit of looking I did. So I just kind of like followed the quest book and hoped for the best. So the first thing I actually did to start messing around with Botania was, if we come down here to Flower Power, I had this thing, the Petal Apothecary, which is pretty straightforward to use. You basically put in these flowers, and then the thing it doesn't show here is you also need a regular like seed, and then once you've thrown these in here, it'll give you a little, hey, yes, the recipe and here's valid, throw a seed in and you get out your pure daisy. So in this case, I did 2 just so I could get living rock and living wood, because you need both these for various things. The living rock we use to make First thing we made was this mana pool. And sorry, the whole reason I talked about the Rooted Queen, the reason I know I had the Daisy before, is this Rooted Queen was the second last step to get me this Solomon Princess, which is what I used to get, at the time, the Soul Comb, which got me Soulful Wax, which was what I used to make the magic frame, because I tried, but I did not get magic frames out of any sort of loot bag. Anyway, so back to here. So I used the Living Rock to get this diluted mana pool, and then my first way of generating mana, so you need to use living wood and then like a flower and some gold to make these mana spreaders. But for the mana spreaders, these basically are like the battery or the generator for the mana pool. So you need to make this Wand of the Forest to like bind the two of them, I think. I don't know. You can like click on this and have it reverse direction too. I don't know. I'm just kind of. But anyways, so I got these guys, and then the way I generated my first mana was using this Day Blooms, mainly because I had the flowers available to do it. And then this is actually the first quest in a long time where I've claimed the rewards, because it gave me 2 Day Blooms. But use these Day Blooms, you sit them down, and they give you free mana, but they only last for an hour, so they die pretty fast. But basically I used those, that first bit of mana to make mana powder, so I could then make this Endo Flame. And the Endo Flame, if we look in here, is another one of these petal recipes. The only thing is you need this mana powder. And again, it's very similar. You just throw gunpowder or whatever in here and you get mana powder out. Actually, I was scrolling through here though, and I had noticed that Draconium Dust has a huge discount, so I actually used the Draconium Dust to get more mana powder out of this. Then as soon as I had the as well, the next thing I did, because you need 1 piece of mana steel to upgrade this mana pool to be stronger, I also did some mana steel and heal here. I specifically made my mana steel with oh good lord, mana steel, thaumium, just because again it was cheaper in here and just trying to go faster. But once I had that stuff, I had to go into the Twilight Forest for a while and look for flowers to make this Endo Flame. But once I got this guy set down, I came up with this little circuit to... I should slow down. So basically with how this Endo Flame works is it consumes fuel from the environment that drops on the ground around it, and then it just burns it kind of like a furnace. So the way I like fed this to make it full, and I don't have this set up so that it can keep dropping stuff, is over here I've got this drawer with block of charcoal in here, which is probably the longest running solid fuel I currently have, because I've never really went the solid fuel route. The way this whole setup works though is if say I grab one of these and then put it back in here. Oh, I have this guy turned off. Sorry, let me turn this on. This is set really slow. We'll see if it, by the time I'm talking, it works. But what we have going on here is... Actually, you know what? We don't even need this. So, what this is doing, this timer is triggering this import bus over here, which is using the redstone mode, activate 1 per pulse. Basically every 40 seconds, I believe I have this set to, it sends a pulse, and this technically imports 1 charcoal block into the main network. But over here on this formation plane, I have this set up to a really high priority. So whenever a block of charcoal enters the network now, it actually comes to this formation plane and just kicks out. So like if I were just grab one of these and then put it in the network, I need to turn my magnet off for this to work. Throw it in, and boom, we can see it pop out. And then after a couple seconds, this Endo Flame should grab it. Don't let me down. Oh, it's because everything's full, so it's not going to grab it to burn it. So yeah, this whole thing's backlogged. So that's why I have this turned off, so it doesn't like keep running constantly. I should probably actually do something to make this. I'm just gonna disconnect all this for now too, just in case for some reason I don't want all my charcoal blocks to throw on the ground if something weird happens. But for the moment, I don't need to go any further in Botania, so this will be just set up as it is. But this Endoflame is a tile entity, so I just threw down a couple world accelerators powered by some solar panels. The second time around of putting these down, I've put glass over top of everything because I kind of get so kind of like set in my ways. I kind of forgot about having to protect machines from rain, so I actually lost 2 IV world accelerators. But needless to say, I did all this. One of the things I did grab was the Botania B while I had a lot of mana. Botanic B? Yeah. This Botanic B. This guy is great because it basically drops down all the petals. So if we're to look into A2 here and type of petal, got like 100 of every petal. If I needed to do more, I could throw this into industrial apiary. But for the moment, you know, that's plenty of petals for me. It makes it so I don't have to go searching through the Twilight Forest. But we got our mana diamond, and the whole reason I was doing that was to get a second blood altar, which for me was down here so I can start passively making runes. Now I haven't gotten too far into my little journey into blood magic. I did take a little bit of time to rerun some AE cables and also run dense smart cable all the way down here, so I have more channels in general. But this is kind of just a proof of concept. It does not work for getting me all the tiers yet. Currently I only have a tier 2 altar over here, as you can see. But what we've got going on here is a couple things. So the first one is I did throw a level maintainer down here specifically for arcane slates and wet concrete, just because those are used for crafting runes. Wet concrete's used for crafting runes. This guy's obviously the base part of all the bloody slates or what have you. So what's going on here though is down here we have a really slow timer. I believe this guy is set to 168 seconds. So every time this guy pulses, boop, boop, it should pulse here in a second. And it pulses just for that second. A slate comes in here, it pops off, and then it comes over to this little setup I have going on. This was my thought for automating it. I don't know if this is the best way, but this is the way I came up with for now. The way this is working right now is I've got two little sub networks going on. So we've got this first little sub network. You can actually see it's connected by a quartz cable. So the imports coming off the main network, and then it's getting, this guy is another import bus, and these are all will be drawers representing each tier of slate. This controller is just because I have too many inputs over here. And down here we've got toggle buses, and then I have a second sub network, which I only did the second one just so I wasn't wasting 5 channels doing this particular setup. So all this sub network is doing, and technically 10 channels if I end up going this like route down here, but that's a proof of concept down there, where this has a storage bus on it, and then because it has a storage bus, I can use level emitters from it, and then like say I think I have it right now set so that if this is below 128 blank slates, this will be turned on. And then as soon as I hit 128 blank slates, this guy turns off. So when there's a tier 1 slate over here, the network won't try to pull it into this storage bus because as far as it's concerned, it doesn't have anywhere to pull that to because this will turn off. And then so on and so forth. So like this guy will be, I think I have it set for 64 tier 2s. Once this guy turns off, it'll stop trying to pull the slate out of the altar. And then over on this side is a storage bus for the actual main network. And then down here, this whole little setup is a little overkill. You don't actually need to do this. I didn't realize at the time that for the redstone signal card on here, there's a pulse mode. So this was basically my attempt to try to do a signal for just 1 second every 168 seconds. The reason it's 168 seconds is because we're doing tier 1. I do need to make this circuit fancier though, because right now it's at 168 because I'm crafting tier 2 ones, and you don't want to drop a slate in here while this doesn't have enough blood. So this slow timer is allowing it so that this can recharge, and it is timed out. I timed it earlier to make sure I had the right timing for it, but I do want to, and then this circuit will just kill it. So right now the only one set up is the blank slate, but once I have all the right amounts and where I want it to be, these are a bunch of ore circuits, so if any one of these are low, it'll trigger this guy to start exporting. But I did this so that I don't just have this jammed up later on down the road. But what my plan for the moment is just to go about doing what I was before and leave this run for a little while so I can build up some slates, because I need to make some tier 3 slates so I can start increasing the speed of this altar. I also need to make this a tier 3 altar and then decide about how I want to go doing regular recipes into this guy. I have an idea, but I'm not entirely sure. But this is just kind of the start of my blood magic setup, and it will probably be evolved more tomorrow. But yeah, I appreciate you for watching. I hope everyone has a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.